lies in extreme, unstable, and unpredictable territory full of geological, ecological, and historical secrets. Today, you're going to discover 35 facts you probably didn't know about Florida. These aren't random facts, but pieces of a puzzle that fit together and reveal what this state is really like. And I can assure you of one thing, if you finish this video, Florida will no longer seem like the same place. 35. Manatees survive the winter in power plants. It may sound like a scene from a science fiction story, but every winter hundreds of manatees gather near Florida's industrial power plants. Despite their size, these gentle marine mammals cannot tolerate cold water. When ocean temperatures fall below 20 degrees Celsius, manatees migrate toward the warm water discharges produced by the cooling systems of electrical plants, such as those in Tampa and Cape Canaveral. The residual heat from human industry has become their lifeline. These locations now function as artificial sanctuaries, complete with observation decks for tourists. It's a striking example of how wildlife adapts to human infrastructure. In Florida, even factory runoff becomes a refuge for endangered species. 34. Beaches that glow in the dark. Along the coast of the Indian River Lagoon and Mosquito Bay, the sea occasionally illuminates with a magical blue glow. This phenomenon, called bioluminescence, is caused by microscopic organisms known as dinoflagellates. When disturbed by waves or movement, they emit a bright light similar to an electric pulse. On warm summer nights, a single step in the water can set off a galaxy of blue sparks. Scientists see it as a natural defense mechanism of the microorganisms, but to visitors, it's an unforgettable sight. These glowing waters transform Florida's nocturnal beaches into something out of a dream, a natural spectacle that fuses chemistry, biology, and wonder. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe and give a like to discover interesting facts to share that few people know about the US states. 33. Fossil shark teeth on the shores. Florida's beaches don't just offer seashells, they're treasure fields of ancient fossils. On Venice Beach, nicknamed the shark tooth capital of the world, the sand hides teeth from species that swam millions of years ago, including the massive megalodon. Currents and underwater erosion carry these fossils from the seabed to the surface, making them accessible to anyone walking the shoreline. Some divers even use suction devices to collect them in deeper waters. Each tooth tells a story of an ocean that was once far wilder and deeper. These remnants are tangible evidence that prehistoric giants once ruled the warm waters of what is now a vacation paradise. 32. The Lost World Beneath Florida. Prehistoric megafauna. Tens of thousands of years ago, Florida looked nothing like the tropical landscape we know. During the last ice age, it was a cold, grassy savanna populated by enormous creatures. Mastodons, saber-toothed tigers, and giant ground sloths taller than a man. Fossil remains of these animals have been found in rivers, caves, and even construction sites. Scientists believe many vanished when the first humans arrived and the climate warmed. Today, their bones lie beneath highways and suburbs, reminders that Florida's soil hides the memory of a forgotten age. Beneath every palm tree, there could be the ghost of a giant. 31. Alligator highways through suburban lakes. Florida's expansion has created thousands of artificial lakes and drainage canals built to control floods or decorate neighborhoods. But these waters have become new highways for wildlife, especially alligators. The reptiles use these interconnected lagoons to move between residential areas, golf courses, and parks. It's no longer unusual to find one resting in a backyard pool or crossing a quiet street. The line between wilderness and suburbia has disappeared. For the alligators, Florida's human-made landscape is simply a rearranged swamp, and they are its oldest residents. 30. The only place where crocodiles and alligators coexist. Florida holds a unique biological record. It is the only region on Earth where crocodiles and alligators share the same natural territory. Normally, these species live in different habitats. Alligators prefer fresh water, while crocodiles favor saltier environments. However, in southern Florida, particularly in the Everglades and Biscayne Bay, both find ideal conditions to overlap. This rare coexistence happens thanks to the state's mix of tropical warmth and complex water systems. Yet, this fragile balance is at risk from climate change, which alters salinity levels and water temperature. Here, two prehistoric lineages meet, coexisting in one of the planet's most delicate ecological intersections. Florida's hidden desert, the scrublands, contrary to its lush reputation, Central Florida hides an arid ecosystem known as the Florida scrub. These inland highlands were once ancient coastal dunes that became trapped when sea levels fell. The sandy, nutrient-poor soil supports hardy hardy vegetation and fire-resistant plants. Many species here exist nowhere else. Some flowers only bloom after a wildfire. This desert within the tropics reveals another face of the state, one shaped by heat, scarcity, and survival. While most imagine Florida as eternally green, its heart beats under a pale, dry sun over ancient sand dunes. 28. 3 seas shape its weather at once. Florida is the only continental U.S. state simultaneously influenced by the Atlantic Ocean, the Gulf of Mexico, and the Caribbean Sea. This triple exposure makes its climate uniquely volatile, humid, warm, and prone to sudden storms. Sea breezes collide over the peninsula, generating daily lightning and intense humidity. It's this same convergence that fuels hurricanes and the state's tropical vegetation. Florida acts like a meteorological crossroads where the world's oceans meet. Its weather is not only unpredictable, it's a continuous experiment in climate interaction. 27. The place where you can see Earth's curvature. In Kissimmee Prairie Preserve, the terrain is so flat and the horizon so clear, perceive the curvature of the planet. This vast grassland, stretching endlessly under the sky, is one of the few remaining natural prairies in Florida and a haven for rare birds such as the grasshopper sparrow. The area is also recognized as one of the best stargazing spots east of the Mississippi, thanks to its minimal light pollution. Standing there gives a surreal feeling of being at the edge of the earth, proof of how immense and horizontal Florida truly is. 26. The Everglades, a river that moves slowly. Despite looking like a swamp, the Everglades is actually a massive river flowing gently from Lake Okeechobee toward the southern coast. Stretching across thousands of square kilometers, it's one of the largest subtropical wetlands on the planet and a sanctuary for countless species. Known as the River of Grass, it filters water, absorbs carbon, and moderates the local climate, yet half of it has been lost to farming and urban sprawl. Massive restoration projects now try to repair what decades of drainage destroyed. Without the Everglades, Florida would lose its natural shield against both floods and drought. 25. A land that needed fire to survive. In Florida, fire is not always a disaster. It's often a necessity. Many ecosystems, including the pine flatwoods and the Everglades, depend on periodic burns to stay healthy. Fires eliminate invasive plants, recycle nutrients, and allow native species to thrive. When humans suppressed wildfires for decades, vegetation grew unnaturally dense, disrupting entire food chains. Now, environmental agencies intentionally conduct controlled burns to restore balance. In these lands, to extinguish every flame is to extinguish life itself. Fire, paradoxically, keeps Florida alive. 24. The vanishing wetlands. In less than a century, Florida has lost over 30% of its wetlands. These marshes once acted as nature's kidneys, filtering water and buffering floods. The expansion of cities and agriculture drained or filled many of them, breaking apart a network of ecosystems that once functioned like veins and arteries. Their disappearance has intensified flooding, polluted rivers, and endangered wildlife. Every dry neighborhood that now stands on reclaimed swamp is built on borrowed time. The cost of progress, in this case, was the slow erasure of one of Earth's most complex hydrological systems. 23. The Wakulla Springs Abyss. At first glance, Wakulla Springs seems like a tranquil blue lagoon surrounded by cypress trees, but below the surface lies a colossal chasm descending more than 100 meters underground. It's one of the deepest freshwater springs in the world. Divers exploring its submerged passages have discovered prehistoric fossils, including mastodon bones and artifacts from early humans. This abyss serves not only as a geological archive, but also as a vital source of drinking water for nearby communities. It is a portal into Florida's ancient heart, dark, cold, and alive with history. 22. The largest freshwater network on Earth, Florida, has more freshwater springs than any other place on the planet, over 700 known to date. These springs gush from the limestone bedrock, fed by an immense underground aquifer. Together, they release billions of gallons of crystal clear water each day, forming rivers and natural pools. Silver Springs alone produces 500 million gallons daily. But this abundance is fragile. Excessive extraction, pollution, and saltwater intrusion threaten these vital sources. If the springs stop flowing, much of Florida's biodiversity and human life would dry up with them. 21. The world's largest flooded cave system. Hidden beneath northern Florida lies the Wakulla-Leon Sinks cave system, one of the longest submerged networks on the planet, stretching over 50 kilometers. These underwater labyrinths are extremely dangerous to explore, yet they contain priceless scientific information. Divers have found fossils, mineral formations, and reserves of pure water dating back thousands of years. Mapping continues today using advanced sonar and 3D scanners. Beneath ordinary farmland and towns lies a silent flooded world, an entire dimension of Florida few will ever see, but upon which all depend. 20. The ancient city of St. Augustine still breathes history. Did you know that Florida is home to the oldest continuously inhabited European established city in the continental United States? Founded in 1565 by Spanish explorers, St. Augustine stands as a living testament to centuries of history, a city where every street and building tells a story. Its cobblestone streets whisper tales of pirates, conquistadors, colonial settlers, and early trade that shaped the region. Among its most iconic landmarks is the Castillo de San Marcos, a 17th century fortress constructed from coquina stone, renowned for its ability to withstand both military attacks and devastating hurricanes over the centuries. Walking through St. Augustine feels like stepping back in time, with Spanish-style architecture, historic plazas, and quaint bridges blending seamlessly with the coastal charm. The city's vibrant culture, museums, and historical reenactments allow visitors not only to see history, but to experience it, making St. Augustine a unique portal to the past in the heart of modern Florida. 19. Florida has the most golf courses in America. If you thought California or Arizona might hold the crown, think again. Florida boasts over 1,250 golf courses, more than any other state. From Palm Beach to Naples, every region has its signature fairways, making it a paradise for both amateur and professional golfers. The pleasant weather allows year-round play, and many PGA Tour pros call Florida home precisely for this reason. Whether you're a beginner or an expert, you can find a course surrounded by palm trees and ocean breezes. 18. The alligator capital of the world, Florida's wetlands are world-renowned for their abundant and diverse wildlife, particularly its reptilian residents. It is estimated that more than 1.3 million alligators inhabit the state, distributed across all 67 counties, making Florida the undisputed alligator capital of the world. Prime locations for observing these ancient creatures include Lake Jesup, the Everglades, and numerous rivers, lakes, and swamps throughout the peninsula. What makes this particularly remarkable is the way alligators coexist with humans. They can sometimes be spotted in residential swimming pools, golf course ponds, or even near roads, illustrating the delicate balance between urban development and wildlife habitats. Experts emphasize that these reptiles are crucial for maintaining the health of Florida's wetlands, controlling prey populations, and supporting biodiversity. Observing an alligator in its natural environment offers a unique glimpse into a species that has existed virtually unchanged for millions of years, a living link to Florida's prehistoric past. 17. Florida has its own coral reef, and it's dying fast. Beneath the turquoise waters of the Florida Keys lies the Florida Reef Tract, a remarkable natural wonder and the only living coral barrier reef in the continental United States, as well as the third largest in the world, stretching approximately 360 miles from the Biscayne National Park to the Dry Tortugas. It provides a vital habitat for thousands of marine species. Legend today. Visitors can drink from a natural spring that bubbles up through the ground, surrounded by lush gardens and centuries-old artifacts. While scientists dismiss the eternal youth claim, locals still joke that Florida's sunshine and warm waters keep retirees feeling younger than ever. 9. Florida is a meteorite magnet. Few people realize how often meteorites fall on Florida's soft terrain. Thanks to its humid air and limestone bedrock, many small space rocks remain well preserved after impact. NASA scientists have collected dozens of meteorites in rural parts of the state, especially near Gainesville and Tampa Bay. In fact, the odds of finding a meteorite in Florida are among the highest in North America. The state's low elevation and abundant wetlands make it a natural landing zone for cosmic visitors. 8. Florida has more coastline than any state except Alaska. Stretching over 1,350 miles, Florida's coastline touches both the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic Ocean. That's longer than California's and Texas's coasts combined. This explains why beaches dominate Florida's culture, economy, and lifestyle. From the sugar-white sands of Destin to the vibrant shores of Miami Beach, every stretch of coastline offers a different rhythm. Fishing villages, luxury resorts, party hotspots, or serene wildlife refuges. 7. A town once disappeared into a sinkhole overnight. Florida's porous limestone foundation hides one of nature's most unpredictable dangers: sinkholes. In 1981, the ground beneath a car dealership in Winter Park collapsed, swallowing 5 luxury cars, parts of 2 streets, and a swimming pool, all within hours. The 350-foot wide hole became a tourist attraction before being filled years later. Such geological phenomena are common across Central Florida, where underground water erosion silently reshapes the land. 6. You can drive on a beach. Legally, Daytona Beach is not only a legendary motorsport destination, but also one of the rare places in the world where driving on the beach is legal. This unique tradition began in the early 1900s, when automotive enthusiasts and racers used the firm, hard-packed shoreline to test their vehicles' speed and endurance. Long before racetracks became widespread, the wide, flat sands provided the perfect natural racing surface, giving birth to Florida's early car culture. Today, visitors can still enjoy this one-of-a-kind experience by driving in designated areas along the beach for a small fee, while following safety guidelines to protect the environment. Cruising beside the crashing waves and feeling the ocean breeze evokes a sense of freedom and nostalgia, blending adventure with the scenic beauty of the Atlantic coastline. It's a rare opportunity to combine the thrill of motoring with the natural wonders of Florida, offering both locals and tourists an unforgettable, quintessentially Floridian experience. 5. It's the lightning strike capital of the Western Hemisphere. Florida doesn't just have frequent thunderstorms. It leads the Western Hemisphere in lightning activity. The corridor between Tampa Bay and Orlando, known as Lightning Alley, sees nearly 50 lightning strikes per square mile every year. The state even has research programs that capture lightning to study its electrical charge and potential energy. Despite the danger, locals have learned to respect and adapt to nature's raw electricity, making it a fascinating, if shocking, part of life in the Sunshine State. 4. The Everglades is the only ecosystem of its kind on Earth. The Florida Everglades isn't just a swamp, it's a slow-moving river of grass, stretching over 1.5 million acres. Home to panthers, manatees, crocodiles, and countless bird species, it's recognized as a World Heritage Site and a biosphere reserve. Scientists call it one of the planet's most complex and delicate ecosystems. Its shallow waters move only about a mile per day, filtering nutrients and sustaining an intricate web of life that exists nowhere else on Earth. 3. You can witness rocket launches from your backyard. If you live along Florida's Space Coast, you might see the night sky ignite with the thunder of rockets heading into orbit. From Cape Canaveral and the Kennedy Space Center, NASA and private companies like SpaceX routinely launch missions visible for miles. Residents of Cocoa Beach and Titusville often gather outdoors to watch fiery trails climb through the atmosphere. A reminder, these including fish, sea turtles, sponges, and invertebrates. The reef not only supports biodiversity, but also protects coastal communities from storms and erosion. Unfortunately, this delicate ecosystem is under severe threat. Rising ocean temperatures, pollution, overfishing, and ocean acidification have led to repeated coral bleaching events, leaving large areas of the reef lifeless and vulnerable. In response, scientists, conservationists, and volunteers are working tirelessly to save the reef, employing advanced marine nurseries, coral restoration projects, and artificial reef systems to regrow and stabilize damaged areas. Despite these efforts, the Florida reef remains at risk, highlighting the urgent need for continued protection and awareness of this invaluable natural treasure. 16. Key West once declared the independence. In 1982, in a humorous and symbolic protest against a federal roadblock that severely impacted local tourism, the residents of Key West jokingly declared independence from the United States, calling themselves the Conch Republic. The move was intended to draw attention to how federal policies were choking the island's economy, threatening the livelihoods of residents and local businesses. What began as a satirical political statement quickly became a celebrated part of the island's identity. Since then, Key West has embraced this playful rebellion, commemorating Independence Day every April with elaborate parades, mock sea battles, live music, and colorful festivals that attract visitors from around the world. The Conch Republic has endured as a quirky, endearing symbol of Florida's distinctive culture, reflecting the islanders' irreverent humor, independent spirit, and ability to turn a protest into a beloved, long-standing tradition that blends history, satire, and community pride. 15. Home to the largest collection of Art Deco buildings in the world, Miami's South Beach is more than a famous tourist destination. It is a living architectural museum. Its pastel-colored hotels, streamlined facades, and bold geometric designs create the largest concentration of Art Deco buildings in the world, attracting architects, historians, and design enthusiasts from across the globe. Most of these iconic structures were constructed during the 1920s and 1930s, reflecting the glamour, optimism, and artistic innovation of the early modern era. The buildings feature intricate details, rounded corners, neon accents, and decorative motifs that blend European elegance with tropical flair. Today, the Miami Beach Architectural District is protected by preservation laws, ensuring that this historic treasure remains vibrant and well-maintained. Walking through the streets, visitors are surrounded by the rhythmic harmony of palm trees, ocean breezes, and artful architecture, a combination that defines the unique charm and cultural significance of this South Florida landmark. 14. Florida has more thunderstorms than any other U.S. state, nicknamed the lightning capital of the U.S. Central Florida experiences about 80 to 100 thunderstorm days per year. Cities like Tampa and Orlando see frequent lightning strikes, especially in summer when warm, moist air meets cool sea breezes. This dramatic weather has inspired local myths and even scientific research programs that study lightning to improve storm prediction systems. 13. The only place where crocodiles and alligators coexist. Florida holds a truly unique ecological distinction. It is the only place on Earth where both American alligators and American crocodiles share the same habitat, with their primary meeting ground being the vast and intricate Everglades National Park. While at first glance these two reptiles may appear nearly identical, they differ in subtle yet important ways. Alligators typically have broader U-shaped snouts and darker coloring, favoring freshwater environments such as marshes and rivers, while crocodiles have longer V-shaped snouts, lighter skin tones, and a higher tolerance for saltwater, often inhabiting coastal mangroves and brackish lagoons. Their ability to coexist in overlapping territories creates a rare and delicate balance within the Everglades ecosystem, fostering extraordinary biodiversity. These reptiles play critical roles in maintaining healthy wetlands by controlling prey populations, shaping vegetation patterns, and providing habitats for other species. Observing alligators and crocodiles in the same environment offers scientists and visitors a living window into evolutionary adaptation, illustrating how Florida's subtropical climate and unique waterways have created a one-of-a-kind ecological phenomenon unmatched anywhere else in the world. 12. Home to a town where roosters rule the streets, Key West is famous not only for its sunsets and lively culture, but also for an unusual urban feature: roosters freely roaming the streets. Known locally as gypsy roosters, these birds are descendants of chickens brought to the island centuries ago by early settlers from Cuba and other Caribbean islands. Unlike typical urban wildlife, these roosters have become an integral part of the island's identity, celebrated rather than removed. Local ordinances protect them, allowing them to wander freely through neighborhoods, courtyards, and even outdoor cafes, crowing at all hours and startling unsuspecting tourists. Over time, they have become unofficial mascots of Key West, embodying its eccentric, carefree, and whimsical spirit. Visitors often find themselves stopping to watch or photograph the roosters, marveling at how a city can embrace wildlife as part of its culture. The presence of these birds highlights Key West's unique blend of history, tradition, and quirky charm, making the island unforgettable for those who stroll its vibrant streets. 11. The mysterious Coral Castle built by one man. In Homestead, Florida, lies Coral Castle, a stone structure so puzzling it's often compared to the pyramids. Built single-handedly by a Latvian immigrant named Edward Leedskalnin between 1923 and 1951, the monument features enormous coral blocks weighing several tons, yet no one knows how he moved or carved them with primitive tools. Some say it's proof of lost ancient technology. Others call it a testament to human perseverance and heartbreak. Before moving on to the top 10, remember to subscribe to the channel and give it a like to become a wise expert in American geography. 10. The Fountain of Youth might actually be in Florida. Legends say Spanish explorer Juan Ponce de Leon came to Florida in search of the Fountain of Youth, a mythical spring that could restore vitality. Whether or not he ever found it, the Fountain of Youth Archaeological Park in St. Augustine proudly celebrates that